Hey, what is going on, guys? This is Starsha, and welcome back to the second episode of my Season 21 Rebuilding Glory campaign in Lord of the Rings Rise to War. So if you guys do enjoy this video, please do drop a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on those post notifications. Also, if you guys haven't already, you feel free to join my Discord, follow my Instagram, etc. All those links are down below in the video description. Anyway, let's get on to the video. So, in today's video, as I said, this is episode 2 of the Season 21 campaign that my team Ring is currently playing. We have been in this campaign for like 2 weeks now, I think, and yeah, this is only the second episode because, I don't really do that many videos on Rise to War anymore, so I only do like major updates now for my server, and that's about it. But this server has been very interesting. It's been one of the weirdest servers I've ever played, really. Um, yeah, it's just been a very different experience for my entire team. And yeah, we're gonna go have a look at the map, and while we're having a look at the map, I will try and explain, what happened as unbiasedly as possible, but it's obviously, gonna be from my perspective. But yeah, we're gonna just go and talk about everything. So if we zoom out over here, you can see that, well, there's a lot of war pins everywhere, but Lothlorien is obviously doing the best. They've pretty much expanded the most. They've gotten lands from Angmar, Erebor, they've taken the entirety of the middle area in front of us, and now they're finally fighting another faction outside of Erebor. So basically, actually no, you're not, yeah. Basically what happened, right, is so when the season started, we reached out to Lothlorien because they're a really strong faction, and we said, "Yo, could we have an alliance?" So they said, "We'll start off with a NAP." We said, "Okay, no problem." So we start off with a NAP, which is, a non-aggression pact, and we used to every NAP we've ever signed being, you don't attack each other. If you want, you set up a designated PvP area, and that's where you fight. Apparently, that was a misunderstanding. Lothlorien started attacking us, and they said, "No, the NAP only covers your borders." So it only covers your home area, aka the starting region that you're in. And so we're like, okay, that's not what we understood, but whatever, we'll go along with it. So we started doing PvP with them, and they kept saying, "Send more fighters. Why aren't you fighting?" And it's like, obviously because a lot of our players are still wanting to just farm and grow because you know normally, when we have a NAP and we have friendly PvP, we have a zone. For those who do want to fight, they send their commanders over to that designated area, and they can go and they can fight and do PvP with other people. Anyway, so Lothlorien pushed us. We were fighting in Eastbite over here, and we were having a big old fight with Loth. Gave them a whole lot of free merit and levels. And yeah, basically, what we look at that entire situation is Lot basically did that because they wanted to see how strong we were, and obviously we have one full team, so we have Ring 1, which is full. We have Ring 2, which is also 90 players at the moment, but I need to kick out like 20 or 30 players, maybe even more, because we only came into the season with our main team being full. Our second team only had 40 players, okay, or 30 players. So everyone else that joined our second team is the other small warbands and fellowships and whatever in our faction. They then went and merged into us, plus also any randoms that joined and just requested to join, we let them in. So we only actually have, I would say, 130 ring players, aka players that I know are going to be active and going to fight, that came into the season with us. And yeah, a lot basically used the app as an excuse to test our strength. And once they realized that we weren't strong enough to fight them, straight up, they basically changed the attitude, and that it became you keep if you want to keep the NAP with us, you do what we say, or we go to war and annihilate you. And obviously, we're not gonna accept that. We're not gonna just bow down to that. So when we decided, we've had enough of this friendly in inverted commas friendly PvP, we need to do something that's going to actually benefit us. Because remember, the only resources we had, right, was our starting region and Eastbite. Lothlorien had their entire starting region. They had, Gladden Fields, they had Upper Acuin Vale, they had Burskala, and they even had Withered Gardens. So they had way more farmland while we were just stuck with our starting region only, while we had to give them PvP. So we decided to move south instead, into Rune's lands, because Rune is the only player, is the only faction that we could actually go and access, because Loth had everything else. So we did have a nap with Rune as well, which we ended up giving them notice on. We had a 48-hour notice period, so we gave them notice to end our nap. Now, the minute we did that, Loth came to us and said, if you end the nap with Rune, we are going to end ours with you and we're going to wipe you out. And I was like, wait, what? Are you guys even allied? They said, no, we have no alliance with them. We have no nap with them, nothing. That's what we're going to do. AKA, they're going to use that as an excuse to end our nap, to wipe us out. Because there's no tactical reason, or, short of them having an alliance, which they said to us they didn't have. Obviously, they could have lied about that. But, I'm basing this off what I was told, and they said they had no relations in terms of naps or alliances with Rune. So we said, okay, we're ending our thing. We're going to go and try and at least get ourselves some new farmland, maybe get a second capital, all of that stuff. So Lot ended their nap with us, and then they invaded, and yeah. Obviously, their main team, Onyx, alone has like 2.5 million power. Their second team is like second or third on the leaderboard as well. And their third team is above our second team. So, yeah, they have like maybe 250, 300 players. We have about 190 at the moment, or 200 in Fellowship. But we only have 130 that I can rely on. And the other 70 that I can't rely on, yeah, they mostly have gone AFK. They have no merit, even if it says they've been active recently. So I do need to kick all of them out because they're basically useless. So as you can see, yeah, Lothlorien invaded us. They took this pass. They took the pass in the back. They pushed in here. Through this pass, they took Dale, they took Lake Town, they even took our capital of Erebor. And another thing, right? So we had a 48-hour notice period with Lothlorien, and if we zoom in, right? So let's just go over here, right? Go there. And so we were trying to prepare defenses, right? So we went and we set up we tried to set up a fortress there, for example. Set up a fortress, we had forts here. Now, apparently, Lot saw us setting up a fortress within our lands as aggressive, even though we're a much smaller faction in team. And so while we were still within the nap notice period, they were sending eagle armies to take it down. Obviously, they're going to argue. So obviously, any Lothlorien player you see is going to say, no, it was an aggressive move. We couldn't trust that. I mean, they entered their nap with us. We are within our lands. We're inside our starting region. And we're building a defensive fortress so we can have range, so that all our players that don't have range can, get over and get forts down. So Loth, obviously, they sent over eagle armies to take it out. And yeah, anyway, there was a lot of heated words spoken and exchanged. And yeah, and in the long run, Loth obviously invaded us, pushed through on every front they could. They even came around through Rune's side. Came through here, and started fighting us. Massive red weapons were over here, especially near Dale, Lake Town, Erebor, for the last couple days. It's kind of died down now because, well, we basically are empty on barracks. One team of 100 players, plus the second team of like basically 30 players, trying to sustain a war against 3 different enemy clans on 4 different fronts. Kind of impossible to do so, but we did our best. We delayed them. We made them bleed for every inch of ground they took. Now things have finally let up slightly, just because the middle has opened here. So as you can see, Loth took an entrance, Rohan took 2, and this is the first combat Lothlorien is doing outside of fighting us. And they did a little bit of friendly PvP with Rune, but I'm talking about actual combat. Loth has just been fighting us the entire season, invading us. Now, this is going to be the only change to that. They're actually fighting Rohan here. So, yeah. It's gonna be interesting. See what happens now. Now that we have a little bit of breathing room, will we at least be able to secure our flank? I have no expectations of being able to push out and actually like take Burrs or something, or even invade Lot. That's never going to happen. We're not strong enough, and they are way too strong. They could send one team to hold us, and it would be an even fight. well, actually, they're still stronger because they have more production, they have more whales and all of that. So it still would be a fight favored towards them. But yeah, that's the whole Lothlorien situation. Let's get on to the actual talking about the map and the war pins and everything. So, as I said, the reason this has been a weird server is because every faction has been fighting their neighbor, basically. And no, like, Lothlorien expanded, right? Once the side passage is open, they expanded. Angmar is basically non-existent. And yeah, they just took the capital unopposed. They took Baskala, they took our capital, they have their own. So right now they have 4 capitals. And nobody wanted to like do anything to them. No one decided to fight them. No one decided to, try to stop them at all, which we felt was very weird. Usually in a server when one team is this dominant and they're, taken 3 caps before like any other teams even got a second, or actually I guess Rohan has a second, somebody would try to make a move to stop them, but outside of them invading us, they haven't fought anyone else. So it was interesting, but yeah, we'll have a look here. So when I said everyone is fighting the neighbor, this is the Arnor Linden fight. As I said, fighting each other's neighbors. If we get a ping over there we go. So this is a fight in Breland, 6.5 million participants, just under 2 million deaths. This is the main team Bana from Linden fighting Honor, Warner, and King from Arnor, with a whole bunch of other apparent teams in Linden there, but I think those are all like 2-man war bands, so we're not going to mention them. Over here we have 5.7 million participants, 1.8 million deaths, again in Breland, but more northern. Bana against Honor, King, and Warner once again. Now if we go down here, we have the pins between Rohan and Gondor. So Rohan has a pin here. Belligerence is Cake against Arda. Cake is not their main team, but it's one of their teams. So Cake against Arda, 200,000 participants, 70k deaths. They have another pin over here, Cake and Swan, which is their main team, against Arda, Peel, and Boo, with some cult support as well. 1.3 million participants, 480,000 deaths. Over here in the north, we have the biggest pins between Rohan and Gondor. This is 2.7 million participants, just under 1 million deaths. Swan, which is the main Rohan team against Boop, PL, Arda, with some Cake, BFBG, and cult support. Over here we have 8 million participants, 2.7 million deaths. Swan and cult against Boop, PL, Arda, Cake, and BFBG supporting. Over here we have Boop against Cult, Swan, and BFBG, 432k participants, 153k deaths. In the middle, we have the big pin. This is the only actual combat Lothlorien has seen outside of fighting us. So, 2.5 million participants, 900,000 deaths at the moment. Swan against Onyx. We have Cake support, Fury, and MFCB support as well, along with Cult. I don't think Rohan can win this, just because, to me, anyway, when I look at the tactical situation, Loth has had the entire season so far to farm their starting region, the center region, basically a little bit of Angmar, unopposed. And then obviously they pushed in against us and taken a lot of lands as well. So they've basically had a lot of time to grind levels on their commanders. They've got a lot of farm, and they should have basically full barracks of tier 4s. So Rohan, on the other hand, they've been fighting a much more equal opponent. Gondor is obviously weaker than Rohan, but they're much stronger. They have like 2.5 full teams, like they have 2 full teams and another half team as well that is very active. So, they're having a much more equal fight. So they obviously will have, you should be a lot lower on barracks and farm, etc., because they haven't been able to expand and take as much as Lothlorien has. So I do think Lothlorien should win this fight, unless Rohan is just whaled enough to destroy them. But we'll see. I guess we'll see who gets, who gets Dol Guldur, who takes the One Ring. Over here we have Mordor against Rune. So we have a look. This is the Rune team Lord against the main Mordor team Crow. Some Nazgul and Iron support. I don't think they have more than a couple players. 3.1 million participants and 1 million deaths. Over here we have Crow fighting Lords, 1.1 million participants, just under 400,000 deaths. Over here we have 450k participant, 150k death pin, Crow against Lord once again. Now if we go over to us, we only have a couple smaller pins at the moment. All the red war pins have expired, mostly because we just have no troops. So yeah, If we have a look here, Seldon Vale, 750k participants, 250k deaths. Ring, which is my main team at the top against Fury and Onyx, with my second team Ring supporting. And SPRT is a small 50-player clan, but I think they only have like 20 active, so they're supporting a bit over there. Over here we have 999,000 participant pin, 327k death. Onyx against my main ring team with some support from my second ring team. Again, my second team has 90 players, but they only honestly have like 30 people fighting there or actually active. Over here we have 330k participants, 100k deaths. My main ring team against MFCB and Ring 2 support. And over here we have Grit against my main ring team with my secondary team and the SPRT supporting. 670k participants, 209,000 deaths. We're going to go over to the leaderboards now, but yeah. Basically, I think next season, I'm not going to let any randoms in. I rather have my second team, just have the 30 active players that I know are going to fight, rather than having a bunch of AFKs in that are useless and don't do anything. Or, actually, I just don't think we have the spots to fit everyone into one team. I think we'll just have our main team and we'll have our secondary team. Our secondary team we'll use to do smaller side objectives, etc. We can't expect to use them as the main team to hold an entire section or something, but we'll use them to push certain objectives and, do stuff like that. But yeah, let's go on to the actual leaderboard. So first up, we have Personal Affluence. Personal Affluence, I'm at 25k. I'm ranked because obviously I've been losing a lot of lands to the Lothlorien Invasion. If we have a look at merits, I am again unranked. I have 269,000 merits, but yeah, this is not enough to compare with, any of the players on the leaderboard. I'm pretty sure the lowest, the lowest is 379k. So once I actually have some barracks, I could maybe try and catch up, but again, we're currently empty on barracks and we have 69k merits. So yeah, Fellowship Affluence. Now you're going to see why I think Loth is going to win this so easy, and why it was so crazy that they just full on invaded us. Though, I mean, honestly, it makes sense. It makes sense for them, They tested their neighbor, found out their neighbor's a lot weaker, and decided to invade them for free capital and free lands. And honestly, that is a sound tactical decision. The thing that we despise so much about it is obviously we're the ones being invaded, but two is the matter or the manner in which it occurred, So them having an apple dust and then breaking it because we wanted to expand against Rune and actually do something useful for our own team and our own faction. And, that being their catalyst, inverted commas again, because I'm pretty sure that was just an excuse. So, yeah, when we wanted to invade Rune, they just said, oh, you're going to do that, we're going to attack you. And, yeah, then they invaded us. Yeah, I would have preferred it. They were just like, hey, guys, we're going to break our nap with you. Why do you want to do that? We want to invade you and take your lands and take your capital because we want to expand. And you guys are the easiest for us to do that against. That would have been a nice straight up, straight up explanation, and we'd have been like, oh, okay, cool, you guys want to attack us and, invade us for our stuff. That's fair. It's a war game after all, and yeah, we would try to fight. We would have lost. It would have been the same result, but it would have been with a lot more goodwill because we wouldn't have felt like Loth were using us and then testing us and then making an excuse to just attack us. But yeah, onto Fellowship Affluence. In number 1 position, we have Onyx from Lothlorien, 3 million power. In number 2, we have Swan from Rohan, 2.8 million power. 3, we have Honor from Honor, 2.6 million power. 4, we have the second Lothlorien team, Fury, 2.5 million power. And yeah, you see why we didn't have a chance, right? These two teams alone have a combined 5.5 million power. And my main team, as you can see over here, is only at 2 mil. So yeah, that's 2 mil. And then where's my second team? No, where are they? Yeah, my second team is here with 1.4. So combined, we have 3.4 million power. Again, I need to kick out half the second team. So we honestly have like 3 million, if not less than that. And Lot's main 2 teams alone have 5.5 million power. Their third team adds on another 1.3 mil. So they have like 6.87 mil or something. So yeah, we didn't stand a chance there. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked again. So number 4, as I said, was the second Not Team Fury with 2.5 million power. 5 is Mordor's Team Crow with 2.2 million power. 6 is my team Ring. This is my main team, Ring Naria, 2 million power. 7 is Bana from Linden with 1.9 million power. 8 is Lord Maroon with 1.8 million power. 9 is Peel from Gondor with 1.8 million power. 10 is Warner from Arnor, 1.8 million power. 11 and 12 is Boop and Arda from Gondor, both of them at 1.7 million power. 13 is my second Ring team, Ring Vilya, 1.4 million power. We have a look, we have 90 people there. I'm going to kick out maybe like 40 or so. So by the next episode, or at least by the final episode, you'll see we have a lot less power and a lot less players over there. 14 is the second Rohan team, Cake, 1.4 million power. 15 is Nazgul from Mordor, 1.3 million power. 16 is the third Lothlorien team, Grit, 1.3 million power. 17 is Leoe or whatever, 1.1 million power from Linden. 18 and 19 are the other two Rohan teams, BFBG and Cult, 1 million power and 968 power. 20 is the first of the Angmar teams, Doom, 820k power. 21 is SPRT, which is that other Erebor team, 800k power, but they have 55 players, but they only have like 20 actual actives. So yeah, that is the Fellowship Affluence leaderboard. Let's go over 2 faction points. So over at faction points, I am at number 15, which is very nice, you know. I'm trying to hit top 10, trying to hit top 5 if possible. Right now we're at number 15 with 3,203 points. We're going over for top 10 next. Top 10 is 3,400 and above. Okay, that's actually kind of a big gap, 3,749. But yeah, we're going to try and hit that, try to get to 4,000 points as well, you know, get up to the top 7 at that point. Top 5 is 5k and above. So we're going to try for that. I don't know if we'll be able to do it, but we're definitely going to make an attempt. Over at development level, Lothlorien is number 1 with 25 levels of development. Rohan is 2 with 21. Arnor is 3 with 16. Gondor is 4 with 13. Mordor is 5 with 13. Linden is 6 with 10. Rune is 7th with 6, and Erebor is 8th with 4. Angmar, the completely dead faction, is 9th with 4 as well. Again, we don't really have much keep stuff, that is why we're so low. But yeah, that is going to be the season update, the second season update. Not sure when it will actually come out. It may come out in a day or two, or in a couple days from now. If you're a player from Lothlorien watching, I mean, you're free to leave your comments in the comment section. Just do so respectfully, and you know, yeah. Obviously, you guys are gonna, well, you know, all of the lot players are probably just gonna disagree with me because, well, I'm presenting a narrative that is not their narrative. And, yeah. Again, I would love to hear your point of view, and anyone from Lothlorien who is watching. If you wanna, you know, you're free to leave a comment letting me know what you think or what your POV of the situation is. Whether I will agree with it is doubtful. But I also want to see, or I would also really like to hear who agrees with my narrative or my point of view of the situation from Lothlorien. Like, my point of view, TLDR, basically a summary of what I think it is Lot fought us to test our strength, realized we are weaker than them, and we would be a much easier kill. Waited for an excuse to end the nap, and then invaded us to take our capital and our farmlands. If we hadn't ended our nap with Rune, and we had not invaded Rune, but instead done what they wanted us to do, they would have kept their nap with us, probably let us even keep our capital, because they would have been able to basically use us as attack dogs or as lapdogs, you know. So, you know, they would have kept the threat of invading us as, you know, a sway to keep us in line, and they would have just kept having us, you know, go and do whatever they need. Now when they're fighting Rohan, they probably would have had us come south to fight Rohan as well, you know, to take some pressure off them. So yeah, let me know if you agree or disagree with that, if you're from Lothlorien, you know. I personally think you guys were using us as lapdogs until we said no, and then you all invaded us. But if we had gone along with it, you would have kept you would have kept the nap with us. You would have used us, to fulfill whatever objectives you required us to do. And if not, well, it turned out the way it did, where you guys invaded us. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Again, this video has been much longer than any of the previous ones. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please do drop a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys in the next video.